I want to do a preliminary review. Yes, I do. A part one. That was kind of like singing. I want to do a preliminary. Preliminary on a pair of headphones that I have owned. This is the third pair. Third pair of headphones by this manufacturer that I have owned. And if you know your headphones, you know what you're looking at, because there's been a lot of reviews done on these. So this is a part one. Five. Let me get that in there. 5 hours after I have procured these, as in purchased. There you go. They're not on. That wasn't the noise coming through there. That wasn't nothing. These are the Sony. You know what? I don't even know the model number. Because I've had the 4s and the 5s and now the 6s, and they were on sale today. And I bought them at my local hi-fi shop, and I got a discount of 5% even on top of the sale. Because I negotiate everything. Everything in this fucking world is a negotiation. End of story. Do you want to know why I bought them? I wasn't convinced that I was going to buy them. But I watched this guy do a review today on them, and it just says, this model of Sony XM6s are bad. Yeah, they were bad. Well, okay, they're bad. Why are they bad? So I called my local hi-fi shop. I said, "You got these in stock?" And they're like, "Yeah, we got them in stock." And the guy gave me a price on them, and I was like, "It's not too bad." He says, "But I think they're on sale. I don't know. I'll have to check. Do you want me to call you back? We're just a little bit backlogged right now." And I said, nah, man. I'll come down and check it out. And so I went down there. I went to the record shop first, and I was looking for Roger Waters' album, which is sold out. Congratulations, Roger, on selling out all 12 copies that were in my local record shop on your new live album, even though you're a dickhead. But whatever. What do I think of these? Okay, first of all, I had the 4s. I had 2 pairs of the 4s, actually, because I really liked them so much, and that was a long time ago. And Chloe, my little red-nosed pit bull, she was in the chewing stages of her life, and she got a hold of the headphones, so I had to go buy another pair, and I wasn't ready to shekel out the money for the 5s, because I really like the 4s. They were great for podcasting. They were great for listening to music here and there. They had their own app. You could do things on the app. They were just, whatever. And I mean, to be quite honest with you, because I was podcasting all the time and doing this and doing that, I didn't really give a shit about the app or the this or the that. I just listened to the headphones. And of course, I'd listen to Tool, I'd listen to Metallica, I'd listen to whatever. I don't care. Collective Soul, the Watchmen, I'd listen to whatever. Anyway, one day, I decided that the wife was going into the hospital. So I had bought her a pair of pink Bose headphones. And they were the 700s. They got the noise canceling and stuff. And I said, you know what, just take these 4s with you and the Bose, just in case you run out of battery power, then you can just switch them over while you're charging the other one. Because you can't listen to these damn headphones while you're charging them, which makes no sense to me, but whatever. That's pretty much almost every headphone. It's kind of stupid, but whatever. I got a bit of noise in the background. I think the TV's on. No big deal. So anyway, I then picked up the XM1000 XM5s, and I used those for probably 2 years, and I got lured into the heavies. And the heavies, first of all, the noise canceling doesn't even compare. It doesn't even come close. The actual Bose 700s aren't there either. they're not there either with the noise canceling. They're close, but they're not quite there. So anyway, the young fellow that sold me these today actually is subscribed to my YouTube channel. He keeps saying that I pop up on his YouTube from time to time. And I said, well, if you're interested, you should subscribe. And he says, well, you've taught me a little bit of stuff, so I did subscribe. And that's when the manager came over and he says, give him an extra 5% off. It's a sale, blah, blah, blah. Manny, I call him Easy Money. He's a great guy. And so anyway, I gave the wife the 5s. I gave the wife the 5s because the Bose, I don't know if she lost them or if they shit the bed. The story I'm getting is they shit the bed. I think I've seen them a couple times, so I don't really know, but I don't really care. So I gave her the 5s. I wasn't doing as much podcasting as I used to. I kind of watch YouTube on television instead of podcasting and falling asleep to it. Now my wife is home and out of the hospital. So, if she's watching TV, I'm back with a set of headphones. Just podcasting, you know what I mean? Because I don't like watching 90 Day Fiance or the Kardashians or... Good God, she can watch some stuff, let me tell you. I just, don't get me wrong, I'm not critiquing what my wife watches on television. It's not what I'm doing. But I gave her the 5s. She's got the 5s. She's enjoyed the 5s. And I enjoyed the 5s. Anyway, let's get back to this guy who reviewed them. And the reason I went out and bought them. Okay, I think his name is Chin. And he reviews hi-fi gear and reviews headphones. And after I seen his review, which was hilarious, I might add, completely hilarious. I think at the end of the whole comment, like the whole thing with regards to the headphones, because he's an audiophile. And if you don't know what an audiophile is, I'm just going to give you a quick once over. An audiophile doesn't care about the music that's coming through this. They want this to deliver them the music in the best possible way. So what they're actually doing is they're spending an extreme amount of time listening to the gear. They're breaking it down. They're measuring it. They're doing all kinds of things with the gear. They do this with amplifiers. They do this with preamplifiers. They do this with speakers. They do this with speaker cables. They do this with DACs. They do this with everything. I am an audio enthusiast. So, when is good enough? That's the question. When is good enough? If you go on Grok right now and you type in, what is the best headphone? Actually, let's do it. Let's do this. Let's go on to Grok. Let's get rid of this. We'll hit the speaker. What is the best Bluetooth headphone of 2025? Then you just hit enter. It starts to calculate things. We can wait a minute. Okay, the Sony WH-1000XM6 stands out as the best Bluetooth headphone of 2025. Based on expert reviews and testing across multiple sources, here's why. Now, I could read through, great battery life, exceptional sound quality, top-tier noise canceling, comfort and design, advanced features, price and value, why Sony wins, blah, blah, blah. 25 sources were hit. I don't even use Google anymore. I just use Grok. 25 sources were hit. You can actually use AI on Google too, but whatever. It's getting a bit too bright on my eyes. So I Googled that, and while I was Googling that, another headphone review came up. And he was reviewing I'm sure his name is Chen. And he's a young Chinese or Oriental fella that's probably loaded cash, big time cash, because he ordered a pair of $72,000 Sennheiser headphones that come with its own amplifier, its own DAC, and it's you press a button and shit just starts to move around and open up. And like, so this guy has compared the finest of wine to box wine. Do you know what I mean? He's compared the finest stuff in the world, and he just says these are bad. Okay, let's clue you in. Let's clue you in. These headphones for a 20-year-old kid or 17-year-old kid, sorry, skull candy. You're getting skull candy all the way. I bought my kid Beats. I had one kid. Most people have like 2 or 3 kids. These were $549 on sale. They are on sale on Amazon for the same price right now. And he gave me 5% off. And that's the best he can do on Sony, because Sony doesn't leave a lot on the table for the dealers. They just don't. They don't on amplifiers. They don't on anything. Sony is Sony. And that's not the only one, but Sony is very specific that way. I know, because I've tried to buy the cheapest Sony shit in the world, and there's no discount to be had on it. So I got 5% off. So I'm pretty happy. So what did I do with Gabriel? I just put them on, connected them to my phone. There were 700 fucking things in that store I could have connected to, so it took me a while to find the 1000 XM 6s. Connect, boom, connect. Showed my app. I'm like, oh, right on. Turned it to Tool, turned it to Numa, and I said, here you go, bud. I put him on his head. And I said, tell me what you think. Because he's a good kid, and he's learning. And maybe he hasn't tried these. And as a matter of fact, I figured that out right away, that he hadn't tried them. And he just said, these things are amazing. And I'm like, oh, you like the song? He says, no. Well, kinda, but I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything but the song. I can't hear anything. Like, there's nothing I can hear. And I'm like, well, that's the best noise canceling in the world. You know, for $549 Canadian, that's the best noise canceling in the world. End of story. So what do I think? Because this is part 1. I haven't reviewed these. This isn't a review. This is an impression. These are deadly. These, they're going to be sweaty. Just like the 5s, just like the 4s. They're going to be sweaty. These are not going to be my Sennheiser 600 HDs that I hook up to my preamp that are 300 ohm. They're not. I already know that. I don't need to know that, but I already know that because I'm not stupid. Are they better than the 5s? Yes. I knew that right away as soon as I put them on. Are they better than the 4s? Well, the 5s were better than the 4s, so you have that answer right there. Wish I could find those 4s, you know. I'd throw them in one of my skid steers, you know, for the winter time or something like that. Something you can beat up. Sometimes I wear my heavies, but sometimes the noise cancellation doesn't exactly work in a piece of equipment. It's really weird. Okay, here's a really cool feature. This button right here turns on, and this button right here is noise canceling. It's either on or off. And I think you can go into the app, because I haven't explored the app. This is part 1. This is part 1 of the interview, or not the interview. And okay, you can plug these in. That is my next thing. I am going to plug these into my preamp. I think they're 48 ohm when you plug them in, and then they're lighter when you don't. And then we're going to really see where the bear shits. Oh, guess what? You can charge them right here with a USB-C, and you can still use them. So you get up real early in the morning like I do, and you go to work and you forget to charge your headphones. You come home, you put them on, and they're dead. Maybe you forgot to shut them off. You're like, shit. And you're tired, so you want to go to sleep. So you go to sleep, and you got no headphones. Well, guess what? Problem solved. End of story. Okay, so this is part 1 of the Sony XM 1000 XM 600s. Stay tuned for my full review, and you know, it's okay to be an audiophile. It's okay to be an audiophile, but the music comes first. The music always comes first. And the music that I'm getting out of these is fine. It's fine for a Bluetooth headphone. Now, when I reviewed the Momentum 3s, you're not going to be getting run over with a truck driving through town with these on your, or walking through town with these on your head on the Momentum 3s. The noise canceling on these are so good, I almost recommend shutting it off when you're walking through town, just so you can hear a vehicle coming or a person coming close to you or whatever, because the truth is, it's my Mickey Mouse ears. The truth is, you could get run over with a fucking truck with the noise canceling that these come with. So, I know this isn't a review, but I'll tell you right now. Out of the box, 5 hours, probably 6 now, but I've been bullshitting for so long. They're spectacular. They're absolutely spectacular. And I recommend them to anybody. I recommend them over anything that is Bluetooth connected headphone. Because I own heavies, I own Momentum 3s, I own JBLs, I own Skull Candy, I own everything that I could find that was cheap. So if I ruined it while I was working, I didn't give a shit. Nothing compares to this Bluetooth headphone, my Mickey Mouse ears. The end. But this is part 1. You guys have a great night. If you like my videos, subscribe. They get a little frickin' long sometimes because I ramble. Anyway, love y'all. Check you later for part 2.